Chris Brown gets canceled again. Chris Brown gets canceled. So he announces that he's releasing, or not, him and Chloe Bailey announced that they're releasing a brand new song together. And Twitter is furious. Everybody is upset about this collaboration. Second piece, How Does It Feel? That's the name of the song. It's coming out on the 24th, in a week from now. Okay. People are not happy about this. This is how people reacted. How did we get here, beloved? We're failing black women in music if they feel like they have to collaborate with a known abuser in order to chart. Dun dun dun. Chloe Bailey makes it so hard to defend her. Why are you making music with an abuser? Dun dun dun. With who? Dun dun dun. Chloe Bailey making a song with Chris Brown in 2023. It's like she's afraid of success. Dun dun dun. You're real for this, taking the attention off Haley, because of Haley, or is it Holly, her sister, is like getting attention for like her drama with her boyfriend. So this is how Black Twitter responds to this collaboration. Black Twitter, when seeing the picture of Chloe and Chris Brown, dun dun dun, it's a hot ass mess, if you ask me. What's this? We're not having it. Chloe tweeting the Chris Brown collaboration right after the Super Bowl. Ooh. Oh. That's so funny. I'm sorry. Holly watching Twitter drag Chloe over this Chris Brown feature. Oh my god, there's one that was funny. Hold on. There's so much. This one's funny. Chris Brown called asking for B collab, and Parkwood gave him Chloe's number instead. So, like, Chloe is under Beyonce's record label Parkwood, and Chris Brown has been trying to collaborate with Beyonce for like 18 years. And ever since he got canceled, ever since he attacked Rihanna, Beyonce is like, no way. And I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about my opinion on this. It's an interesting story. Such a shame. But before I get into my opinion, let's see what Chris Brown says, right? Chris Brown responds to Kylie Williams' reaction to his new song with Chloe. So the girl in 3LW, Keely Williams in 3LW, this is how she responded. Let him come out with his own record, so genius, so captivating that it makes us all forget he beats women. He can't, so he won't. So what does he do? Dun, dun, dun. Then Chris Brown responds, I'm getting kind of tired of your broken promises. Is that him or her? I don't know. Obviously, you are at a point in your life where either you are very broke or broken. The fact that you think you have to speak negatively about me makes you look so lame. Your life and career must suck right now. Minding your business would have been best, but I guess you didn't have the business or a real job that makes you financially stable. I feel more embarrassed for you and your actual maturity. I kind of feel like right now we're in the middle of a recession. 175,000 jobs going to be lost every month so far, I think until like April. So we're in a tough time. I don't think now is a time to be flexing on people because you're more financially successful than them. I don't know. I don't think it's kind of tone deaf, if you ask me. And then he posted this. Okay, so it's a mess. So I guess she responded, let him come out with his own record. Oh, this is what she said about that. Let him come out with his own record, so genius, so captivating that it makes us all forget he beats women. He can't, so he won't. So what does he do? He slowly creeps back into the mainstream by getting small nods from features on Black women's merit. Black women who are more talented, more worthy, but give him the okay. I am swatting an effing air right now. I'm swatting the effing air right now. Garbage and puke emoji. Dun, dun, dun. And then Chris Brown comes back at her with another attack. If y'all still hate me for a mistake I made as a 17-year-old, please kiss my whole entire a-hole or a. I'm effing 33. I'm so tired of y'all running with this narrative. You weird ass N-words are the same ones that tune in every week to see Blueface and Krishan beat the F out of each other in front of the world. But that's okay. It's entertaining. Y'all all can suck my D disrespectfully. Oh my God. And it keeps going. He keeps trolling. So he goes on her Instagram, the 3LW girl, and he comments and he says, whack as F. This is her new song. He doesn't realize that he's actually giving her publicity and giving her attention. Her new song, he says, whack as F. Choo choo train. I guess that's trash. Miss Amtrak. And then he has like tomatoes there. I guess, I don't know what these emojis mean. I have no idea. And then she, 15 minutes to learn because blah, blah, blah doesn't want to see me win. Thank you for being so supportive. Okay, so she's thanking people and ignoring him. Oh, such a mess. Oh, and then he posts this.
If they all hate me, I want them to hate me because they can't beat me.
Whatever. Let me see if there's any more of this mess. Oh, and of course, I'm just giving you the whole chronological order of events before I give you my thoughts. And and not even a famous one. Okay, so someone says, a cheater girl really made Chris Brown pressed. Bruh, not me coming on Twitter and finding him literally proving your point over and over again. And then she's like, I'm not even on a famous one, like he, make fun of cheater girl. I know his PR team is mad. Hot ass mess. So Chris Brown, Mr. Chris Brown, I think he's a disgrace. I really do. I am so disappointed in what he has become. He has this narrative. First of all, okay, this is my first issue with Chris Brown, and I think it's a lot of people's issue with Chris Brown. It's the lack of accountability. Let's address some of his comments that were just completely false and inaccurate, right? And his lack of self-awareness, his lack of accountability, and he just wants to act like he's R. Kelly, crying that he didn't do the crime. But with Chris Brown, in Chris Brown's case, it's like it's been proven in court that you beat Rihanna. It's been proven in court. Well, I don't know if it was proven about Karrueche, like pushing her down the stairs, but the courts definitely gave her a restraining order. So that would suggest that she kind of proved that you attacked her multiple times. And then him like going in and out of jail, him attacking people, him threatening to abuse his publicist, who was a female, and other members of his team. And then I'm not even going to mention, which I guess I'm mentioning it now, but the whole sexual assault claims, which like obviously that was never proven. But it's still sus. Like, I don't know, like if all arrows are pointing in one direction, like something's got to give. Something, like if it quacks like a duck, like there's just so much against him. And so here's my issue with Chris Brown's lack of self-awareness and this whinging that like nobody wants to support me. Why can't I just get away with beating women and everyone needs to support me? It's kind of like R. Kelly when he was crying. It's like there's just like you just think that you should get away with attacking women and let's all forget about it. So let me just address some inaccurate things that he said here. That he was 17-year-old when he made the mistake of beating Rihanna. This is a lie. This is categorically false information. He was 19 years old, right? 19. That is an adult, number one. Him saying that he was 17 is suggesting that he was still a minor. No. You were 19 years old, right? Right? Categorically an adult. But even at that, I don't blame people for things that they do before their frontal lobe has developed. And your frontal lobe develops when you're 25. So personally, I could say what you do before 25, like I am willing to forgive you for that. And I think that a lot of people forgave Chris Brown after he beat Rihanna. So I don't think the anger towards him has anything to do, well, I don't think it has majority to do with his relationship with Rihanna, because let's remember, let's just walk on a trip down memory lane. He attacks Rihanna in 2009 and the whole world stopped. It was traumatic. It was like absolutely shocking to see that. And he was canceled, right? Dropped from every campaign that he had, every association, completely canceled. But, and you know, that happened in 2009. And before that, you guys have to remember that this guy was celebrated. He was going to be the next Michael Jackson. He was the one. He was Beyonce. I remember Beyonce watching him in the VMAs. He was jumping from stage to stage. And Beyonce was like, that kid is so talented. Everybody had their eye on Chris Brown. He was the one. He beats Rihanna. And I personally, well, I feel like Rihanna took his fame. And I'm not saying that to be rude or anything. I think Rihanna has great talents in terms of making good music. But at the time, I couldn't see Rihanna having a long career, like music wise at the time, 2009. I couldn't see it, but I saw that Chris Brown was going to be the biggest star in the world. He was taking Usher's place. Michael Jackson gave him accolades. Everyone was paying attention to him. Chris Brown was the one, right? So he beats Rihanna and he's canceled. But something magical starts happening. He starts using sort of this online blogosphere, this pre-Instagram. This is when we were still going on blogs. And, you know, he was just kind of doing these like collaborations. He had a mixtape. You know, he really reached out to his fans. He made like apology songs to Rihanna. And he really started building back his career to a point where he really was forgiven. I think like he came back by about within a year. He had almost like repaired his image, not completely, but he had done something magical that, you know, and he was getting new collaborations again. He was working with Justin Bieber. That's when Justin Bieber was on his way up. So Justin kind of needed that, but he was being accepted again. You know, he was doing all these amazing collaborations, making such great, amazing music. And we all were told this narrative that, you know, he was 19, he was a kid, let's forgive him. And we all, me included, everybody, you know, we were like, okay, let's forgive Chris. Yeah, he wasn't like in a stage where big brands wanted to work with him yet, but it was kind of like, you know, let's give him a chance. So I think his fans really fought for him, and he really had this opportunity. He was in a place where he was rebuilding his career. And he got to the stage where, even though in 2009, he couldn't perform the Michael Jackson tribute days after Michael Jackson died at the BET Awards. But he was, I can't remember if he performed. No, he attended Michael Jackson's funeral, but he was canceled. But by 2011, his career was thriving. I would say by 2010, he was already great. By 2011, he had like one of the biggest albums that came out. He had so much support. He was performing at all the award shows back again, and he was huge. Granted, at this time, Justin Bieber had come up, Drake had come up, and he made Rihanna a mega superstar. And I really see it as he opened a door and allowed Justin Bieber, Drake, and Rihanna propel themselves to superstardom, because there was a space that he would have occupied. He would have gotten that respect, and he would have had a stronghold on that space. But now, you know, when you think about the talent that Chris Brown has, right? He really was, and I will say, I'm going to say this confidently, he's more talented than all three of them all three of them, Rihanna, Justin Bieber, and Drake, hands down. And so there was no way that they were going to be bigger than him. But turn around and look at today, and I'm a big fan of all of them. So that's a big statement for me to say. But he messed up so bad. They saw this window of opportunity, rebranded themselves in a way that captivated us, and they just shot up to superstardom because he opened that door. And to me, that was upsetting because he was going to be the next Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And imagine Chris Brown, if he hadn't ruined his career, him and Beyonce would be neck and neck. And I'll explain why, because some people are going to argue with this, but I'm going to explain why right now he just is not in the place to even compete with any of the A-listers. Right now he's competing with C-list celebrities. So when he's laughing at someone else for being a D-list or non-famous, like she's quoted herself, she said she's not famous. Like how does a C-list celebrity come in after someone because you had proximity to A-list, but you never really sustained that? You're not A-list, you're C-list. So calm down and chill. So the whole Chris Brown situation, he had this opportunity. He was going to be huge. He blew it. But we forgave him and his career was picking up again. So at this point, he was still A-list. But he wasn't the top of A-list because the top of A-list is Beyonce and Justin Bieber shot up there. Drake started shooting up there. Rihanna was already there, right? So he was kind of this A- list at this point, but his career was still thriving. He was invited to all the award shows. He was selected for a lot of stuff. There are so many doors that were open for him. And then 2014 comes and he has a great management team, but then he decides in 2014 he's going to be rough. And I think that year he went to jail. He was in and out of jail that year. Between 2014 and 2016, there was a Rolling Stones article that came out about him, and they exposed how he apparently pushed Karrueche down the stairs. You know, don't quote me on this, allegedly pushed Karrueche down the stairs. Actually, quote me, like just Google it. Pushed her down the stairs. Then they talked about his drug addiction. Was it Billboard or Rolling? I think it was Rolling Stone. Talked about his drug addiction. Talked about so many things about how he was acting. And we saw these articles about him threatening, his publicist, to like beating his publicist. And I've heard behind the scenes stuff of people that work with him, threatening, being quite abusive to people that work with him. So not only is he being abusive to women, he's being abusive to everyone, to men too. I know a lot of men, especially in the manosphere, want to, dismiss any man, like domestic violence towards women. They don't really care about that stuff. But maybe you guys will care to know that he's attacking men also. I don't know. Some of these men rights groups. I don't condone violence in any way. To me, it's disgusting behavior. It's despicable. But for Chris Brown to claim that he wasn't a chosen one, when from 2014 all you could hear on the radio, especially in Los Angeles, Hollywood, was his music playing nonstop. Loyal, New Flame, nonstop. Like you would hear it on the radio. You turn to another station and it would be playing. Like his music was playing nonstop. For him to claim that he wasn't chosen and wasn't re-propelled into superstardom again, that's some BS, because he really had that opportunity and everything was going for him. Everybody was on his side. We were supporting him. His songs were hits. It was massive. Then he goes into this spiral, does this crazy stuff. And also, I think what really that he did behind the scenes that really messed up his career is he messed up the relationship with the people, the creatives that worked with him. If you're threatening the people that work with you, you're threatening abuse, you're threatening violence, you're not going to have a lot of creative innovators working with you, especially in your management team, in your creative teams, in your music teams. You're not going to have creative people wanting to work with you. And I think that is the real reason that Chris Brown is a C-list celebrity today, right? And it's because when you look at Beyonce, when you look at Rihanna, when you look at Drake, when you look at Justin Bieber, every time they come out with a new release, they've innovated, they've changed their image, and they've come out with something fresh and new and exciting. Chris Brown has made the same dance 2-step backflip video since 2011. He has not innovated, he has not changed, and he has not done anything exciting. In fact, I think I would say when he had the last strong management team to support him, 2014, he innovated in that album and he did successful that year. He was very successful that year. But once he lost that team, he went back to the regurgitation of nonsense. Then he's out here releasing 40, was it more? I can't remember, like almost 100 song albums. Like nobody asked for that. Nobody wants that. It's not innovative. It's boring. It's tired. You know, luckily for him, he'll have one hit, which kind of holds him over. He'll have one hit, an album that's like a smash hit, and that holds him over and keeps him relevant. But when it really comes down to it, when I think about Beyonce releasing an album, I think about Justin Bieber releasing an album, Drake releasing, they have 10 hits a year, or at least like 3 hits a year minimum, right? Even Rihanna, we're dancing to the hits from her past, even though she's been like on hiatus. We're still dancing to all her hits. But I like Chris Brown. It's like maybe the best creatives in the industry are just not gonna want to work with him, not just because of, like, he claims that he did this when he was 17 and he beat Rihanna, not because of that, but because of the perpetuation of this behavior, the aggressiveness, and your reputation of being abusive towards people that work with you. And then in addition to that, all the other stuff, right? And then, like, again, I'm not really trying to use the the rape cases, allegations against him, because those weren't proven, but those things are sus. Those things are sus. And so when I think about Chris Brown, it's so unfortunate to me. It's so sad. It's so sad. And the lack of accountability, you know, is just so disheartening, because at the least we just want some acknowledgement that I am, and this is why we forgave him in the first place, because he recognized that I was wrong. I did this, I was wrong. And he really worked to nurse us to forgive him. And I feel like a lot of people forgave him, but now he's just on this rampage of like screw you. I think they asked him to perform at the Super Bowl. One of his fans tweeted at him, "Why won't you perform at the Super Bowl?" And he was like, "They don't want me." Of course, nobody wants you to perform at the Super Bowl. Why would we want you? When you'll go on Twitter and you start bullying people, and like, can you imagine Justin Bieber, Rihanna, or Drake going on Twitter or Instagram, bullying someone and dragging them for not being successful during a recession, especially? Can you even imagine that? Is that on brand? Because you know that you made it more successful than that person in your era, right? And somehow you've been able to cling on to fame because, like, you rebranded yourself as a rapper, and rappers can get away with a lot more degenerate behavior than R&B singers. So you've rebranded yourself as a rapper, you hang around rappers, so you're still accepted in the rap community and in the Black community. But when you really look at it, like, you were supposed to be the next Michael Jackson. So you can't even walk in the same room as like these superstars, you know? And so for me, I get that he's still very successful financially. He's still very successful. That just speaks volumes to what he would have been if he had the discipline, if he had self-control, and if he had the dedication. And this narrative that he's pushing out, that he was 17 and you guys are mad at him for doing something when he was 17, we forgave you for that. So that's not a narrative that's going to work. Like, you made it, you became super famous even after that. So that's not even the excuse. It was the continuation of the degenerate behavior that is unacceptable. And that's why people are like, no, we see Chloe Bailey, we see this fresh, young, new thing. We have hopes for her. We don't want to see her aligned with someone like Chris Brown, even though she has a little bit of a risque brand, you know, that's controversial in its own right. But I don't think people want to see her with someone like Chris Brown. And all those people that are saying that, oh, people are selective about their hatred for Chris Brown, they were supporting him before. It's not the same people that was supporting him when he was removed from a tribute. It's not the same people that were supporting him then that are the ones that are outraged now. I think there's a massive population of people that understand that we're not going to accept the BS. And let's understand something very clear. A lot of Chris Brown's fans are his age. He has a lot of younger fans that he was able to recapture and stay relevant. So that was a good strategy for him. But a lot of Chris Brown's fans were his fans from when he first came out and was 16, you know, when he first came out at 16. He has a lot of the same fans, right? And those fans grew up with him. So a lot of the times when Chris Brown was relevant, and I say up to until like 2014, if you're around Chris Brown's age of 2014, you're probably like 24, 25. What happens at 25? Your frontal lobe develops. Your frontal lobe develops, right? And what is your frontal lobe? What does that mean? It means you have the ability, the cognitive ability to understand the repercussions of your actions, the long-term repercussions of your actions. This is why they say you can't rent a car until you're 25, right? It makes you more responsible and understand that me supporting this type of person is probably not good for me. It's probably encouraging people to abuse people in the world, right? I don't want to go into that right now. But my point is, with Chris Brown, a lot of people, by the time they hit 25, they started saying, okay, well, I supported Chris Brown before I was 25. That's how he was able to revive his career. After 25, Chris Brown is seeming okay. Then in 2016, he's like 26. And then we hear about all the Karrueche stuff. By 26, he's 26 or 27. By 26, you're almost 30. Now you're an adult. Your frontal lobe is fully developed. And now you're actually, I remember Wendy Williams saying this. I remember watching her saying this, like, this is a man now, and his behavior, he's perpetuating this behavior. This is who he is at this point. But for all of us now at that age, it's now realizing, wait a minute, why am I supporting somebody that he didn't? It's like one thing if he beat Rihanna and he stopped there, but you beat Rihanna, you get into random fights with men, you go in and out of jail for being aggressive. Then in 2016, we hear about you abusing your current girlfriend at the time, or your ex at the time, Karrueche, pushing her down the stairs multiple times. We hear about that in the news, and we hear about your drug addiction, which, I mean, I'm not going to shame anyone for drug addiction. I understand that is very difficult, especially in the music industry, but it's not a good look. And then we hear more about your degenerate behavior, and then you lack accountability. You whinge and complain that, oh no, like, why won't they support me? Why do they hate me? You whinge and you complain about that stuff. What do you expect? What do you expect? You're not a child anymore. It's not acceptable behavior. And people are just old enough to say, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. And this is why there's a big amount, especially after Me Too, when we really understood the real state of the union when it came to abuse towards women, when we understood the whole Black Lives Matter movement. All these things are happening, and it's like awakening our consciousness as a society to abuse towards women, towards Black people, towards minorities, especially Black women. And that's the fans that Chris Brown caters towards, and Chloe Bailey too. People are waking up to this BS, this system that oppresses, and Chris Brown represents that because he has consistently attacked Black women, consistently attacked Black men, consistently attacked people. This is his image. And so now people don't want to support that anymore. People don't want to align with that. It's not what people want to align with. So yeah, he's always going to have a fan base because rappers rap about killing people and doing drugs and doing all sorts of things. So in that community, he's okay over there. But people are not going to forget where you started. And you started in line with the Michael Jackson and the Beyoncés. You started in that squeaky line and you transitioned into this new side. And we're just not used to accepting R&B singers that are thugs. So it's just not going to work for you. And there are people that do far worse. He was right when he mentioned Krishan and Blueface. And in this case, it's very interesting because it's the woman that's being the abuser, which is very problematic. And he's not wrong about this. Or 6ix9ine, who celebrates killing people, and like he's okay. That's fine. People are okay with that. And he's talking about killing people. Rappers talking about killing people, and people are okay with that. But Chris Brown doing this, but it's where you started and how you were branded in the beginning that has faulted you. And I feel like he almost wants to have his cake and eat it too. He hasn't fully packaged and branded himself as a thug. He's kind of like danced around it, but still wants to get the perks and the benefits of a squeaky clean celebrity, because that's how he started, but that's not who you are. Like, if you really want to be a thug, go be a thug, and embrace that fully, and stop trying to have your cake and eat it too, because you're just not going to be celebrated. You're just not going to be celebrated in that same way. So I just think the lack of accountability with Chris Brown is upsetting to me. And I don't think that Chloe Bailey should be making music with him. Like, now he can understand why Beyonce won't even answer his calls to make music with him. Because if this is happening to Chloe Bailey, what would happen to Beyonce if she is associated with you? And this is so much bigger than Rihanna. This is so much bigger than, the case. Like, he's trying to trivialize it and reduce it to like when he was 17. But no, you have perpetuated this behavior time and time again, and it's not acceptable. And that's the problem with Chris Brown. Shameful, upsetting, lack of accountability, and then just this bullying of someone that we know that as far as like she's made it in her career in 3LW, most people are never going to be this famous as she has, be as successful as she made it. So for him to try and like shame her by showing off his fame and his wealth during a recession when 175,000 people are losing their jobs every month is insensitive, and it's part of why his brand. Could you ever imagine Drake doing that? Could you ever imagine Justin Bieber doing that, or Rihanna doing something like that, or Beyonce, and you want to align yourself with them, but you do degenerate things like this? That's not going to happen. It's just like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And that's my point. Anyway, I think I've said everything I want to say about Chris Brown. Not a fan. Used to be a fan, not a fan anymore. And I wholeheartedly support, them canceling him from events, canceling him from stuff. And the reason why is because I kind of want to see accountability from him and acknowledgement of his flaws, and not just do that just so you can get away with it. I want to see real accountability from him, and I don't think we're going to ever see that. And I see that we've seen that with R. Kelly. We're seeing it with Trey Songz as that's unfolding as well. And I just wonder what is up with R&B singers. I made a video on my other channel, Brand Video Pro, about the problem with R&B singers and how R&B male singers, and how like they're always somehow, apart from Usher, but even Usher they try to come for, but Usher's like the only one that's like squeaky clean. Michael Jackson, I choose not to believe that stuff. The stuff about him, whether you believe it or not, that's up to you. But it just seems as though most R&B singers, there's just always some like degenerate stuff that's associated with them, and I wonder why that happens. But definitely go and see that video I made. Or I called it Loverboy R&B, not male R&B singers, but Loverboy male R&B singers specifically. I'll put a link to that video down below. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. And before I go, make sure you check out my new app, Räe the AI, your on-the-go AI chatbot. Let me see if I can open up the Instagram real quick. Where's the search on this? Ooh. No. There we go. Räe the AI. Check her out. Follow, subscribe. You're on the go. Writing assistant. She'll generate human-like responses for you. Emails, search data, essays, code, stories, etc. Check her out. DM her now on Instagram. DM her on WhatsApp, on Facebook Messenger, on Räe Messenger, and let me know what you think about it. Anyway, my name is Kenim. You're watching the Kenim Show, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. And let me know your thoughts on Chris Brown. Do you support him? Do you agree with him? Do you not? Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.